Hello, everyone, and welcome to PWI's Face Turn, a Pro Wrestling Illustrated production. I'm your host, Candice Cordelia, and we are at the end of season 3 of the show. It's been quite a ride, and of course, we're going out big with some very special guests. They are the stars of Apple TV Plus's Monster Factory and also a part of the Southern Jersey School. I'm so excited to introduce you to this wonderful group. We're going to start with Danny Cage, the owner and operator of Monster Factory. We also have the Notorious Mimi, Gabby Ortiz, Twitch, Goldy, and Bobby Buffet. And I got all the names right, so I think we're done with the interview now.
Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it.
Awesome. It's so great to see you all, and congratulations. This is quite an achievement, so I hope you all are very proud. My first question is for you. You're welcome. And my first question is to you, Mr. Danny Cage. I mean, you are known within wrestling as being, at this point, a trainer to the stars. You know, a lot of people that we see on television today in many different wrestling promotions have stepped through the doors of Monster Factory. And for the first time, we're actually going to see the inner workings of what goes on in the school and the lives of some of your students. What was it like in terms of pitching this show? And when did you decide that now was the time that the world should really see what Monster Factory is all about?
Well, I've been trying to tell the world about us for a while, and so was Larry for a while. And then, like I said to many people before, this is like a project that started before there was even an Apple TV Plus. They had contacted us. This group of guys contacted us about 2016 and just wanted to make a reel. And then it snowballed and it got some traction and some people saw it and then some other people saw it. And then they're like, reality show, let's go pitch it here. Let's pitch it there. And we just kept on trying and they kept on coming back and talking to us, the whole team. And then Jeremiah Zagar got on board around 2018. And as soon as he got on board, people were like, okay, this could be something. He's really known for documentaries and stuff like that. And then pandemic hit. And then we got put on the shelf and just waited. And then we had to present them with another concept with the newer students. And July 31st of last year, got the call, and that was how it happened. And I haven't looked back, and I still can't believe it's real. I can't.
That is amazing. I mean, for all of you, the wrestlers of the crew, you know, this is going to be a time where people are going to see more of your individual stories, not just in the ring, but outside of it. And that can be quite a daunting experience. What was it like when you got the call that you would be a part of this show? And what were you thinking, knowing that this was going to become something that more people, both wrestling fans and non-wrestling fans, are going to be able to see?
Yeah, well, I know personally, I was around when the concept started coming up that this show was going to happen, that we had a team of people that were interested in telling our stories. So it wasn't really like an initial call that I got. It was just a process of like, when will we get picked up, who the final team is going to be, who the final cast is going to be. So it kind of was just a slow burn into when we had an actual crew there. Then it became real, but I don't know if for any of us there was an initial phone call that happened, but I think the slow burn really helped get us acclimated to the process of filming the show for everybody and for everybody to see.
Yeah, I mean, we're wrestlers who are training. Dan keeps us very accountable. We're there 3, 4, 5 nights a week. So nothing changed other than camera crews started showing up.
Yeah.
We were already used to that because Dan has everything filmed. He has us ready for that kind of stuff. So it wasn't a shock to the system.
Yeah. And at the time, I feel like getting to be a part of something like this was a big opportunity. And I've been big on like just making the most out of every opportunity. Because it doesn't come often to like a lot of people, especially not someone coming from like where I come from. So I thought it was important to just capitalize.
And, you know, I think it wasn't really a shock to the system for me as well. It wasn't an if as much of a when. I mean, I was also I believe I was there when we first started coming up with the concept of this series. In fact, I don't know if Dan mentioned
You were in the first documentary, you goof.
Well, okay, so yeah, of course, that's what I meant. It mentioned
you're the one
the mini doc. I was the
scene.
opening. Yeah, no, I was the opening. I was the opening shot of that promo.
Yeah, you were killing it, bro.
Yeah, I know what happened. Anyway, yeah, no, it was really more a matter of when than it was an if, and knowing when it happened, when the film crew showed up, it was still like surreal to see. A lot of the times things in wrestling, they're just rumors or it's oh, maybe this will happen, but when it became definite, I was speechless. Yeah, life-changing. Thank you, Danny.
I love the rapport that you all have with Danny, and it's something that's special. And I have no doubts that we're going to see this relationship that you have with Danny Cage, both within the ring and outside of it. For you, Danny, what was it like seeing your students in this position and knowing that you were going to be able to help guide them, not just in the ring, but also as human beings, which I assume is what you do anyway, but now it's just for more people to see on a wider platform like Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, like everything that everybody's going to see was not done just for the show. Mm-hmm. Like everything that we went through, we went through it, 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, like that's just the way we are here. And I've had so many different coaches tell me, like, why do you do this? Why do you do that? You're just supposed to teach them to wrestle. And I'm like, well, then I'm not a coach. Like, then they're circus animals. They're not people, because like they're people. They deserve to be coached, not trained. They need to be coached. They need to be taught. So I'm big on communication, and that's what I always tell the students, because I always tell them, like, if you look back throughout your life, probably 90% of your disagreements and other things that went bad was because of miscommunication. Mm-hmm. So I tell everybody to communicate, to not hold their emotions back, and let us know what's going on. And now we just got to see it on camera, and that's why I think some people love me and other people hate me, because some people are like, no, I just want to learn wrestling. I don't want to check in with you. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Then we're just not for you. But this is what I do, because this is my school, and this is what I need to have to know that everybody under me is safe. Everything is okay, because these are my kids, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, I definitely feel like my experience training with Danny was so much more human than it was just being a wrestler. I remember one night, this was years ago, we all got it. We were all having like a group talk, just everybody in the school. And one student was like, I'm not here for group therapy. I'm not here to talk about, our feelings and stuff. And Dan was like, all right, get out, because that's a part of this. That's a part of knowing each other and working together, is getting through these problems and going forward and being stronger for it. And this person wasn't for us, and they left. And that's what the Monster Factory is. It's personable, and it's human, and it is sometimes like a group therapy. It really is. And I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah, just to touch on and real quick. I've had so many coaches, because I've played sports at almost every level. And the higher level you get, like, less personal these coaches are. They really, see you as more like an asset or a value. It doesn't matter. But, one thing I really appreciate about Dan, I mean, I say this all the time, but he sees more in me than I see in myself sometimes. And he helped me bring that out a lot. I wouldn't be nearly close where that'll happen.
And I'd say that's I've had my my struggles when it comes to showing up when, like, in wrestling just in general, or like not giving it my all. And Danny has always kept me on my toes, and he's always been there for me, and he never gave up on me. And there were times where he kind of should have just washed his hands of me, and that's something that I appreciate. And it's this thing, a lot of places in wrestling and out of wrestling, they always like to say, "Oh, we're a family," and we're a family, and it's kind of just, it's not, it's just hollow when they say it. But when I'm at the Monster Factory, I 100% believe it, because we do all look out for each other, and we'll butt heads. But at the end of the day, like, I would go to war for each and every one of these people in this interview at the factory. Like,
yep,
this is my family.
That's really
you guys are gonna make me cry, damn it.
I know.
I'm a sucker for
mad at it.
now.
I love the energy, and I'm feeling the vibe. And like I said, it's what you have is special. My next question, as we're on this plane, I'm going to actually throw it to Goldy, Bobby, and Twitch. What was filming this like for all three of you in terms of learning more about the art of pro wrestling, and what it's like in terms of really honing in your mental and your physical strength as you're on this journey?
I guess I would say that the whole journey during filming was a very humbling experience, to say the least. During this whole period, I mean, I was the heavyweight champ, so I was considered the top guy, and it felt like almost a lot of pressure to make sure I was as disciplined as possible. But just because you don't get to that point alone without like a sense of discipline, I just feel like it was more the development of my character, not as Bobby Buffet, but me as a person, throughout the whole filming thing. Like, I became a better person. I've matured. I've made mistakes, but I've learned from them, and I've really tapped into the family aspect while we tape. So I think overall, like, it just worked out how it was supposed to.
Yeah, and it's like, we already touched on this, that things didn't really change when the filming started. It was just cameras were there now. It was the same the past 5 years I've been wrestling. This is just a year of my story. So you get to see what's been going on this whole time. You get to see the real stuff between me and Dan, between all of us. And what's crazy is there's so much that you don't even see. There's so many times that I can remember during filming that they didn't film us, me and Dan literally crying together, laughing together. So it's not, you asked about honing wrestling. This time period wasn't really about wrestling. Dan taught us how to wrestle already. He taught us the basics. This was about furthering ourselves as people, furthering ourselves as just overall, and continuing, this journey of being better people.
I guess the craft that I had to hone in on during this whole time was my promos. I was always better. I always taken the promos better than I had with the wrestling. But there was a point, throughout this filming where I was kind of just coasting on the same thing that I would always say. And, Dan saw that I could do better, and he called me on it. And even, I kind of got out of my comfort zone. Like, I'm a musician as well, and I always try to keep those two things separate. And Danny, he convinced me to kind of start blending the two. My phone just fell. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
God damn it. To kind of blend the two. Yeah, because that's right. Anyway, it's I had to get out of my comfort zone in that aspect. I would say, the wrestling wise, like Goldy said, Dan taught us how to wrestle. He gave us all the tools. I do want to say though, like, maybe it was in preparation, maybe it was just how it happened, but I think this past year and a half was where I kind of consistently hit my stride in terms of like having to step up my game in the ring. I can't do the things athletically that Goldy can do. And, same thing. I don't have the strength that Bobby does, but I always loved storytelling. So that was what I tried to hone in on the entire time, and telling a good story.
You nailed it.
Yes. And very last question as we have to wrap up. This is going to the ladies, Gabby and Mimi. You know, you both have experienced fame in your each individual respective ways. So what was it like to be able to tell your unique individual stories for this series?
I think it was a really perfect like timing moment for me, where it was a time that's very interesting to watch back because it was unsure. It was a lot of times I was experiencing like the first time doing something at a particularly high level. Getting to share my tryout with the world was really exciting, but also really nerve-wracking. So I think just it was perfect how it lined up. Like everything fell into place at the right time for that.
Yeah, and for me, I was in a transitional period of my career where I wasn't sure if getting signed was an option for me, or sticking out on the indies was what was going on for me, or doing behind the scenes, just kind of figuring out where I was going. So filming this at the time was very much nothing to lose, everything to gain kind of opportunity. So I was totally game for showing everything that I was going through, and I know that everyone here was game for that too, and that's why the show is so good, because we were all so vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to have to leave on that note. Vulnerable, happy, warm. This was such a great conversation. I hope to do it again with each and every one of you. And thank you so much. Congratulations. Everyone watching March 17th, you don't want to miss Monster Factory on Apple TV Plus. If you do not have your subscription, I'm pretty sure you can get a free trial. Click on that link. And also, please support each and every one of these amazing individuals and Monster Factory. Go to one of their shows in New Jersey. You know where to find them on social media and on the internet. Thank you for watching another episode of Fate's Turn with Candace Cordelia. And until then, stay tuned. We have more amazing things in store.